Hello. So, the first video I put up for MFR was a best PvP build. At the time, this was very early in the game. I was maybe like level 70 something. I don't remember what it was, but I put together a really awesome streak in Dimensional Duel, and the perception was that I was onto something. I figured something out, and to some extent I think I did, but the game has adjusted. Things have changed since the 40 days ago or whenever it was when the game launched or whenever I made that video. And things have been amended, adjusted, and it has been asked of me to try to put together a new PvP video, which we're going to do today. So first I'm going to show you what I'm running and the thought process behind it, what armor maybe you should be going for. At the end of the day, the most important skills in PvP, I believe, are weapon cartridge abilities. Weapon cartridge has some really cool stuff. The two most important abilities, in my opinion, in PvP are, let's get in here. So the setup is first Spin Blade at number 1, I think, is one of the most important abilities that we have for PvP. So I run this in pretty much every PvP build that I have. There's a couple times I've tried to not use it and use other things just through testing, just to see what would work. Ultimately, I always come back to it. It's amazing. And because it's weapon cartridges, that means that Midgardia armor is probably the way to go because of the +6 if you're able to get a full set. Now, the tough part is, like, I, for instance, still don't have a full set. My buddy Zayas has a full set of Midgardia, and it is making him in PvP an absolute unit. So, the next ability that we have is, in the number 2 spot, we have Guided Missile. So I've actually tried, I've had a love affair with precision bombing. There's a bunch of times where I tried to, like, because it hits really hard and it has a nice area of effect, a knockdown, and it does have an iframe, I've really tried to do a lot of testing to see if maybe it was better than Guided Missile. So the last war I was in, the last time I used it before then, Guided Missile is just amazing. So making Guided Missile probably, I don't know, the best ability in PvP. I'm not sure. It's really good, and this is through lots and lots of testing. I finally believe that it is probably one of the biggest X factors for putting you over the top in PvP. I just think it's amazing. And for a lot of reasons, like the fact I don't have to get in very close to hit people with it. If it stacks on one target, it hits really hard. There's a bunch of reasons. So here's the next part in this PvP build that makes things a little nuanced, which it will come down to what you're running. And that is because of the particular gear set that I'm running, which is Xanderth. If I had a full set of Midgardia, I would be using that. I'm still missing the arms. So if I had Midgardia armor, so just keep this in mind, if you have Midgardia armor, use that over Xanderth. Because I have full set of Xanderth, I feel like it edges out the fact that I don't have a full set of Midgardia. So Zayas, for instance, he has a full set of Midgardia, which caters towards the Spin Blade and the Guided Missile. So those two abilities, which in my opinion are two of the most important ones, it adds +6 to those. Nothing more to be said. Midgardia is the way to go for PvP because of that. So the nuance comes into where if you don't have it, or you have something like I have where you have a full set of a different kind of armor, beyond this, much like the PvP video I made, you cater to the thing that gives you an advantage in that game mode. In PvE, it's the focal energy shot. So we lean into that. But the last two abilities can be left to your particular build style, the armor you're running, etc. So for me, because I'm using Xanderth, the number 3 ability is a Charge Wave, which has a stun connected to it, and it is a repulsor ability. So I have +6 because of the Xanderth armor. And it works very good in PvP. I like it. The stun is nice. It's on a fairly quick cooldown, not a super high stamina cost. I dig it. So, number 4 is Repulsor Charge. Repulsor Charge is one of the highest DPS ability skills in the game. Nothing more to be said. It hits really hard. Obviously, I'm running Xanderth. The plus 6 exists. Boom. Not a lot more to be said there. And then finally, number 5. I started running this recently. Also, it hits for a similar amount of damage as Repulsor. High guard break, 21-second cooldown, 31 stamina. Those are kind of high, but this is where the little nuances can come in. So because of the armor that I'm running, I have better cooldown and stamina than probably a lot of other people, so I'm able to run this particular build. Now, before that was a problem. What I was running before this was Operation Speed Amplification, and that is so I could get things back off cooldown and spam abilities. So those first 2 abilities I told you that are really, really awesome, it's to get those right back up so you can use them again. It's all about using them as much as you can. So beyond that, it can just come down to, let's say you have really good cooldown on your gear, but so the refresh time isn't bad, but you'd like to add a little more oomph, you could switch over to Weakness Scan and run that right before you start hitting people with the spin blades. So if that was the case, you would put Weakness Scan in the number 1 spot. If you're having cooldown issues where you want to get your spam the abilities, you would put Operation Speed Amplification at the number 5 spot because you want to run through your cooldowns, then use it. So those are the little fine-tune adjustments. And then what you use beyond that kind of caters to your build. So the other ability I would say, let's say you're using Midgardia, you don't have, for me, because repulsors are what I shine in, that's why my secondary abilities are repulsor abilities, and I'm using 3 of them because of the Xanderth armor. If you're using something else, I would tell you Party Time Protocol would be the way to go. Party Time Protocol hits like a truck. This calculation right here is not accurate. It does not do 630% damage. On the swoop in, you can insta-kill some players with it, depending on your power, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what you're running. You could be an 8, 900, 1 million Iron Man. I don't know what you're using. So all of those things come into play. At the end of the day, it's also nice to have the Party Time Protocol bots down because they run off of your attack rating and they become targetable. They can't be killed as far as I know. And all of those things can make a big difference in PvP. So this is a build primarily used for Dimensional Duel and for Omega War. And it is what I ran up until I got the complete set of Xanderth, and then I made this adjustment. So at the end of the day, these are the suggestions I would make for you in PvP. Obviously, it's sometimes hard to make suggestions that are broad scope for everyone because I don't know what your Iron Man looks like, what your gear looks like, what your power is. And I've gotten pushback before with, well, that only works for this Iron Man. At the end of the day, I just want you to be able to see what's the potential is towards the end game. And if it's something you work towards, I do believe this is pay to rush aside from Omega cards. And that ultimately, if you just keep grinding, you're eventually going to get there and you'll probably kill me in an Omega War sometime soon. So until then, we will see you guys in the next video. Let me know if you have any questions and we'll see you later. Bye.